So I would also like to understand, Christian, what is that one thing people misunderstand about maybe Denmark or Nordic startup culture?
I think they misunderstand that all software companies from Denmark, or at least that you know about, they're successful and fantastic, etc. And now, if I may just show this one,
Mhm.
in most part of the world, people will have a smartphone where they have the player and the recorder available.
So if I talk about Ecolio, who are the, or maybe how do you describe the go-to-market? Is it more of the customers getting from the States, or is it more of from APAC or from the European region?
We are clearly targeting Western Europe and the US, Canada as like a primary market.
I see you are super active, be it LinkedIn, be it calls, be it emails, and I always see you with full of energy and enthusiasm. So, I would like to understand what keeps you, motivated every single day. So, do you think AI will reduce the job opportunities, or it will create more job opportunities for people out there in the market?
If you don't take AI tools into your product or into your daily work for even writing emails or validating something and start using them, then you will get left behind. Because most jobs we do will not be completely replaced by an AI.
Hey, good morning, Christian.
Yeah, good morning, Hemant. How are you?
I am all good. How are you doing today?
Really good. It's early morning and not too busy yet, so who can complain? I had my first coffee, and now I'll
Same,
be talking to you.
likewise. Cheers to this morning. So, we have been, knowing each other since more than 5 years now. So today I thought of understanding your journey and understanding about you in detail. So I'm super excited, Christian, to know about
Thank,
your journey. So before we start, I
thank,
would like to understand, a bit more about Ecolio, how you started and what made you actually, start Ecolio.
yeah, that's a really good question because that lays sort of the foundation for a lot of our work. Well, Equalio is a video training platform or video learning platform. The idea is that you take the concept of short videos and
Hmm.
then you share them with people. And because we can add like quizzes, tests, micro certificates, etc., then you are moving from just a video to something that can actually help people and maybe guide them in doing things right.
Hmm.
And at the same time, document that they know something about a topic. And
Awesome.
video is really engaging.
Hmm.
And people, they look at it and then they copy what the person on the video did or said, and then you're home free. So that's sort of what the platform is all about.
Awesome.
And and why we made it?
Hmm.
Well, there are a couple of reasons for that.
Hmm.
One of them is it is the tool that I needed when I was working as development manager in a
Hmm.
company where I was responsible for processes and development for 400 people.
Hmm.
And every time we went away from a town hall meeting where I discussed, this is how you should do your code, this is how you should up the test, I had a PowerPoint or maybe a PowerPoint and a short video,
Hmm.
and I could share it on internal channels, etc. But I
Hmm.
did not know if did Christian watch it,
Hmm.
and if he watched it, did he get the key points,
Hmm.
and did he actually going through the presentation? Did he get the same key points that I thought were the most important ones?
All right.
And this is like communication is really hard, and
Mhm.
believing that the person got the message just because you shared the PowerPoint after a meeting
Mm,
doesn't it just didn't work. We could see that. And at the
right.
same time, you had 40 people at the meeting, and you
Hmm.
should reach 400.
Hmm.
And next month, new people were starting. The month
Hmm.
after, new people were starting.
Hmm.
So this is how we got to say we need to be able to share knowledge in an
Hmm.
effective way. And you
Hmm.
know what? YouTube works. Why not sort of copy the idea, but then
Hmm.
add the features so you can track them?
Right.
That's one thing. This
Hmm.
is, it fulfilled a need I had for myself and
Hmm.
also for my co-founders.
Hmm.
But secondly, when you look at a learning platform or the more traditional ones,
Hmm.
they are pretty hard to set up.
Right.
They are typically expensive.
Right.
They may be cheap per user, but then you
Hmm.
need to buy, let's say, 300 users.
Mm.
But hey, I'm a company with 10 people or 20 people. Why should I have to pay a lot for
Right.
something that is roughly? So this is
Absolutely.
why we have also made it possible for people to start at a very reasonable price. So
Mm-hmm.
even smaller companies outside Europe, outside the US will say, this is actually worth $20 a month to have
Mm-hmm.
up to 10 people invited for, I don't know, certifications, quality,
Mm-hmm.
QR codes on my product, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
really think that making it accessible in a
Mm-hmm.
way that even small, medium-sized companies can pay,
Mm-hmm.
you help improve quality around.
Right. Right.
And
Abs-
ultimately, if you know how to do a job good, you're pretty
mm-hmm.
happy. If you learn how to do it, you get even more happy.
Mm-hmm.
And a happy person is better with the customers, better with the family, better with the colleagues. So in
Right.
total, we try to make the world a better place by sharing the good pieces of knowledge or
Mm-hmm.
experience that
Mm-hmm.
you have, that I have,
Mm-hmm.
that everybody else have. And
Mm-hmm.
now, if I may just show this one,
Mm-hmm.
in most part of the world,
Mm-hmm.
people will have a smartphone where they have the player and the recorder available. And this is also part of the it's ubiquitous. You have cell phones everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're in a country with expensive mobile data,
Mm-hmm.
very often you go to a place where you can get free Wi-Fi.
Mm, right.
So in that respect, we make it very easy to distribute and also to create
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, more or less when you need it.
Awesome. Awesome. So this is more of a training platform for students, maybe, or maybe any new joiners in corporate, right?
I would say it can be used in students in K-12
Mm-hmm.
education or university education, but we clearly target this as corporates B2B
Okay.
because when you onboard a new person, make sure
Mm-hmm.
that he knows the rules,
Right.
make sure that she knows how is your culture. You can put that in a video.
Mm-hmm.
That's so it's more B2B. Or you have a product,
Mm-hmm.
put the QR code on, or invite your partners or customers to learn this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then because it's so easy and people can consume 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, or they can
Right.
scan the QR code when they need to set up, I don't know, the engine or to access this secure room. You need to do it like this. Okay, so you scan it, enter the
Mm-hmm.
code. If you don't know the code, ask your boss. When you
Mm-hmm.
come in here, this is where you drop your clothes. This is where you take the clean clothes. And when you pass the test and your hands go through some scanning process because they are now clean, then you can enter. You know, it takes 1,000 or 2,000 words to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
What you heard me see, you can show that in a 40-second video. And
Right.
everybody knows this is where I go in, this is where I drop my clothes, this
Mm-hmm.
is where I get the clean clothes, and this is how my hands should pass the inspection before I can get into the clean room.
Right. Awesome. This is such a
So
great
that's
idea. Yeah. Yeah.
thank you. So and that's why we simply say that B2B, small medium customers.
Right. Right. And you are also helping people to maybe get rid of, pen and paper, get all the information in the form of video, which also keeps them engaged. Going
Yeah,
through, paperwork becomes very monotonous and boring at times.
that is true. And you know what? Especially when you're in. Yesterday, I was doing a demo for one of our peers in the network.
Uh-huh.
They do agricultural videos, and I
Mm-hmm.
took one of the videos and then I
Mm-hmm.
added, quiz questions by AI. I added test questions by AI. I got descriptions by AI, which just went through, and
Mm-hmm.
then when I took the test, because I didn't read the questions,
Mm-hmm.
I only read that the questions were sort of relevant,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't cheat and see the correct questions. But when I took it, I only got bronze. I only got, the third place.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried it again and again, and now I know about regenerative agriculture, what the benefits are and why, etc. But I got
Mm-hmm.
platinum. And this
Mm-hmm.
gamification thing, I know it sounds really simple,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see he got platinum because he
Mm-hmm.
shared platinum on our internal website or on LinkedIn or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I only
Mm-hmm.
got bronze. I'll try again. And
Mm.
in this way, these small tricks makes learning stick much better.
It does. It does. Absolutely. Absolutely, Christian. So I would also like to understand, Christian, what is that one thing people misunderstand about maybe Denmark or Nordic startup culture?
I think they misunderstand that all software companies from Denmark, or at least that about, they're successful and fantastic, etc. Because we are not. We are like everybody else. Some are
Mm-hmm.
really good, some are happy, some go around. But we have one challenge that sometimes makes it more important for us to go outside the
Mm-hmm.
country,
Mm-hmm.
even if the classic one, learn customers to know who are around you, know their needs, and then you can expand. The problem
Mm-hmm.
is that Denmark is a small country. We have
Mm-hmm.
around 6 million people. And that
Mm-hmm.
also means that if you have a specialized idea,
Mm-hmm.
there might only be 10 potential customers in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you can call it the global outset from Danish software companies is automatically outside.
Mm-hmm.
And this way, the Danish founders, they tend to go out maybe slightly faster, following the
Mm-hmm.
tradition of Danish merchants with the
Mm-hmm.
sailing ships going out, bringing goods from all over the country back to Copenhagen and then distribute locally and in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go outside,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if we have a niche product, simply because
Right.
the market is so small.
Right.
And just looking to Sweden, our neighbor country, which is maybe around 9 million people,
Mm-hmm.
even though that the difference is 6 to 9, not 6, 7, but 6 to 9,
Mm-hmm.
uh, then they have a more international and larger industry. They have steel, they have mining, they have big corporates in industry to a
Mm-hmm.
degree that we don't do. And that means that a Swedish startup can probably stay within Sweden for
Mm-hmm.
longer before they need to expand or before they need to try to move global. So I think that's one of the, I wouldn't say misunderstandings, but
Mm-hmm.
one of the characteristics of Danish startups is that the local market is so small that you need to go outside Denmark,
Mm-hmm.
local, regional, global, in order
Mm-hmm.
to reach a reasonable target market.
Mm-hmm. So if I talk about Ecolio, who are the, or maybe how do you describe the go-to market? Is it more of the customers getting from the States, or is it more of from APAC or from the European region?
We are clearly targeting Western Europe and the US, Canada as like a primary market.
Mm-hmm.
We do have, I think if we have maybe a third of our customers in the US, a third in Western Europe, and a third in the rest of the world. This is roughly how it works.
Okay.
And and what we try to do, because we work a little different, we would like
Mm-hmm.
to be product led
Mm-hmm.
inbound.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that we don't have 20 people calling out. We don't engage with people booking meetings with
Mm-hmm.
potential clients. But we try to make sure that our branding, our marketing is pulling people in through different channels.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, when they land on the website,
Mm-hmm.
they say, hey, maybe this is something I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll try it out. And
Awesome.
when they've
So,
done,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
or-
So you're like, this was my follow-up question actually. So Denmark is more of into getting inbound-led approach instead of doing a cold reach out these days.
no, I don't think you can say Denmark as such.
Mm,
But
okay.
again, because you say because outbound has a clear benefit, because you can really quickly find maybe 500 potential customers.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's reaching out to them. They set
Mm-hmm.
up, let's say, 75 meetings.
Mm-hmm.
25 of these are reasonably successful, and then you have maybe 5 meetings that convert of the original 500. I don't know the percentages. But the thing is, if you're a small company,
Mm-hmm.
you may not have money enough to pay
Mm-hmm.
for those 500 meetings to be booked.
Mm-hmm.
You may not have salespeople who can reach out and do the 75 initial meetings that is being boiled down to eventually 25 follow-up meetings, and then finally 5 that convert to paid customers.
Right.
So by focusing more on the branding and the inbound,
Mm-hmm.
you can get further with less money, but it takes
Mm-hmm.
longer time.
Right. Right. So here at We Connect IDs, we have a lot of customers who are your competitors actually from the similar space. So any suggestion or advice you would like to give them, especially the people out here in India and Middle East who are into the same space? What should they do and what should they avoid doing while taking this into the market?
I think, and I know this sounds very traditional and not very surprising, make sure that you're going for your ideal target profile first,
Mm.
even if you don't make money enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because we tried initially, we had a third person co-founding the company,
Mm-hmm.
and he came with a background as ERP seller. And
Mm-hmm.
that meant that very often, instead of following
Mm-hmm.
reasonably affordable training system to small and medium-sized customers, he met up with someone who were definitely not medium, but more upper medium or even large or even
Mm-hmm.
enterprise scale. And that turned into we need this. Oh, when we have this thing, we can do it. Then we spend time in product development and doing it. And suddenly they didn't materialize. And we have maybe made a 60% solution or a 75% solution for
Mm-hmm.
something that the average small, medium company would never need.
Right. Yeah,
So,
this
so
is.
one of what, so that's why one of the pieces of advice is
Mm.
find your target
Mm-hmm.
audience or what you think is your ideal target audience, and then go for them.
Right.
Ignore the others. I know it's hard because you look at cash, especially if you're bootstrapped or you have
Right.
some investors who said, "Hey, Christian, we gave you money 2 years ago. We don't see any revenues growth. We don't see any new markets. We don't see any nice logos to put on your presentation. What the
Mm.
hell have you done for the past
Mm-hmm.
2 years with my 100,000 euros or whatever?"
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so it sounds really, know who you're trying to address, and also be
Mm-hmm.
flexible, because sometimes you find that you are not solving a job they need to get done.
Right. Right.
And this is where we have it a little easy, because the learning thing is ubiquitous. The onboarding everywhere, no matter what country and world you are, you need to onboard your new employees, or you
Mm-hmm.
need to train your customers or your partners.
Right. Right.
So that was at least one piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you being in sales and marketing, my second piece of advice would be, as soon as you have found your first couple of customers,
Mm-hmm.
you listen to them, you understand their problem, you understand their domain, you
Mm-hmm.
see that you solve their three top concerns that they have today. When
Mm-hmm.
you have done that, then you need to find a person who's really good in branding and sales and marketing.
Right. Right. Right.
Because very often you are like us.
Mm-hmm.
We know a lot about doing the product. We
Mm-hmm.
know about how the product works, what the
Mm-hmm.
benefits are, etc. But you need to find someone who can push it out and who knows what are the channels I should do, what are the meetings you should try to take, what are the speaking opportunities you should accept or seek in order
Mm-hmm.
to, build up brand reputation and brand reach. And
Right.
that takes time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you first do that when you have 5 years of traction and the first 10 customers in Europe and the first 10 customers in the US, it may take another 4 or 5 years before you start getting this
Mm-hmm.
inbound lead for product led, as we at least want to do, because we don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be a big organization.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're like a couple behind your schedule or your ideal
Mm-hmm.
schedule. So, second advice, get someone who knows something about branding and marketing into the company
Mm-hmm.
early.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't start with it, but you should not go for 5 years without having a strong foundation in that area as part of your competences.
Right. Awesome. And Christian, do you suggest having funds from any investors, or taking it, or having a bootstrap company rather?
It it is a really good question, and if you're able to do it, and you don't have to sell your house and mortgage your wife or whatever, um, then the recommendation is to go bootstrapped or self-funding as long as possible,
Mhm,
because very often when you get in other people's money, especially a professional venture fund or capital fund or a family office who knows about it, they will start taking your time as a founder.
right.
And they might even have ideas on who you should try to target or what the product should do.
Mhm,
Of course, this is well-meaning advice because they want to make a return on their investment,
Yeah.
but it may also take up too much time
Mm,
of your time to interact with the customer, to
mm,
understand the product,
mm,
etc. So
right.
I would say if you can delay it,
Mhm,
if you can keep it going either by getting your first customers on board, or
Mm-hmm.
by finding funds that you control, or where there is no strings attached as
Mm-hmm.
such, then do that.
Right.
But you should also be open to funding when
Mm-hmm.
it's the right funding, or when it's the right time to get funded.
Right. 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 So we, like I told you, we are building our own platform, which is Zitex, which is again email automation platform, and we will be having our own CRM as well by mid of this year. So we are still confused whether we should still go bootstrap, or we should reach out to investors and get some funding for the platform at least, because this platform is for the European market and the US region. So it will need a lot of resource bandwidth and other things as well. So this is good to know information, and you very rightly said, Christian.
Yeah, I think that's it's a crucial time, because the moment you pull in external funding,
Hmm.
and especially if it's, now I should be a little careful, but if it's just funding,
Mm,
then you may have extra work associated with it, and some of the freedom you have at the moment will be boxed in.
right, right.
Um, on the other hand, if you have a pretty good market fit, you have seen people take up, you
Hmm.
can see that when I spend this much money in acquiring new customers, I get that many customers out of it. And you suddenly see, okay, I put X in and I get Y, and Y is a little higher than X. Then that might be a good time to say, everything is fine. We seem to have an engine. Let us find someone who will help. Instead of spending $1,000 in customer acquisition, you might be able to spend 100,000.
Right, right.
So there's also a lot of good times and good places where you say, now I'd like to get funding.
Mm,
So I think the short-term advice is,
mm,
be bootstrapped until you have received information, until you say, my product is now validated, it's fit for the market, I'm solving some jobs that my customer segment needs to get done,
mm,
and have a product that actually helps them, and they're happy about it. They will blog about it. They will do testimonials with me. They will do short interviews. They will appear on social media, whatever. Then that might be a good time to find someone who can fund, you can call it the hockey stick start.
mm. Right, right. And this question is actually personal. So if at all, you meet 18-year-old Christian today, what you talk.
18-year-old Christian would definitely say, oh, you still got hair.
This is a good one.
Yeah, because, I was, my dad had a little less hair when he was 35, 40, and now I'm 50, so I got more hair.
Yeah.
The second thing, 18-year-old Christian would say, but why do you work in software?
And why is that?
Because when I finished high school and I went to the technical university here in Denmark, I was going to be a power engineer,
Mm,
construct transformers, grid lines, intersection points, design power stations, stuff like that. So I am actually
mm,
a qualified power engineer,
wow.
but I've been doing software after the second year in university. So
Wow.
that, I think that would be the second thing. Okay, so you're doing software.
Hmm. Okay. So was this accidental, or you intentionally took this profile?
It was, like I said, I wanted to be a power engineer, and for some reason in the power engineering department at the university, they also had a team or a professor who was talking much about one of a kind production. Because when you build a transformer station,
Mm-hmm.
even if you build the small to medium sized transformers,
Hmm.
they are not, it's not something you go down and then you call a SEA and says, I'd like to have two 10,000 megawatt transformers delivered Monday. Can you do that? Yeah, they'll come Tuesday. No, it's a one of a kind project. It's
Hmm.
so they had something about production planning in relation to the components in the power industry,
Hmm.
and that was with software. That was
Mm,
like calculation, optimization, and then suddenly it turned into programs like this.
hmm.
And then one summer, the professor, the assistant professor, he said, "Oh, by the way, we have these former PhD students who started a company doing financial planning and investment analysis. They
Hmm.
need someone who can help them with some database related stuff." And
Hmm.
we thought, yeah, what the hell? They pay, it's summer. So, and then, one thing took the other. And when I finished 2 years later, I got hired and have worked for that company for more than 22 years.
Awesome. Good to know.
So
Good to know, Chandy.
it was not by design. It was definitely like, oh, you want to do this? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, now I know this company. And then a couple of years later, when I was doing my master's, they called my professor and said, do we have some reasonably good candidates that will finish soon? And then they said, no, but we have Christian.
And now you're sailing on this boat. Okay.
I have been completely not doing anything power related ever in my professional career.
But one thing I would like to uh, bring this up today, Christian. I have been knowing you since a years now, and I see you are super active, be it LinkedIn, be it calls, be it emails, and I always see you with full of energy and enthusiasm. So, I would like to understand what keeps you, motivated every single day, maybe to start your day and have whatever you do with all the
I
energy.
Yeah, that's good. First of all, I'm a positive person. I like to get up early in the morning. On the other hand, I also fall asleep very fast at night.
Hmm.
But what makes me wake up full of energy and wanting to get started on your qualio or related things is that I now do what I do best and what I'd like doing. I do that most of the time.
Hmm.
So when I get up this morning, I had an interview with you. I have another interview in 10 minutes with another podcast.
Hmm.
And then when I've done that, I have a little work to do related to my farm and to my
Hmm.
family. And then there's like, we have this new import thing that we're going to do in the system. I have a person, he's doing the API part, but when the data get into the system, we need to update the cleansing. We need to make it maybe not faster, that's okay, but it has to be consistent. We're not consistent. And then yesterday I could throw away thousands of lines of code because they're not used anymore. So we have had these code lines in the system for 3 years and they have not been used. Okay. So
Hmm.
I simply get up and I do what I do best. And
Hmm.
when I worked in some of the other places, I were in managerial positions. I had meetings. I had to do personal interviews. I had to talk to people. I had to sit into meetings where I could not really contribute and where I did not have any effect on the outcome.
Hmm.
So instead of working maybe a third of the time with what I do well and what I like to do, I now
Hmm.
work 2/3 of the time or more doing things
Hmm.
that I like to do and that I'm good at.
Hmm.
And just the fact that I have some customers who like our product so much
Hmm.
that they're endorsing it and they're even using it every day.
Hmm.
We're not business critical,
Hmm.
but we are part of the infrastructure in that company. We help them every day with our product.
Hmm.
And these things like my personal preferences and what I do with my time, and that I can see we have customers who are out there who share our successes on LinkedIn, who write to us when they have a question, who ask us for advice, while at the same time they're using a product that I'm proud to make.
Hmm.
I think I think this is also now you ask for some advice for a founder or a startup team
Hmm.
when they feel they have a product that they
Hmm.
can actually try to sell to their best friends
Hmm.
and be confident about that it works and that it might help your friend.
Hmm.
This is where you should be with your product after some time and some experimentation. You should feel
Hmm.
so confident and proud that you are willing to yeah, push it to your friends.
Hmm. Right. So in India, we talk a lot about work life balance these days. So it is not only with the founders, it is also with the freshers, executives, managers. They talk a lot about balancing things out, working from Monday to Friday and taking day off on Saturdays and Sundays. What's your take on it? What do you suggest? What do
Is there a work-life balance when you're a startup founder or when you're a scale up?
you?
Maybe not. No, I think it is important that you, especially, I think there are two situations. One, you're one of the founders. Two, you're
Mm-hmm.
an early hire in a small company.
Mm-hmm.
And that is to understand that being a part of the team and taking responsibility is really important.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't take care of yourself, then you're
Mm-hmm.
actually not taking care of the team.
Mm. Right.
And uh, I know a little about India. I know a little about the US. I know a little about Denmark. And I'm saying somewhere in between those three countries, there's a tendency that maybe in the US and the India, you really try to burn, not, but you need to contribute maybe a lot and you sacrifice yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and especially in a small team, that will hurt everybody.
Mm.
In Denmark, with some of the younger people, I'm now, talking about generations and all that, they are maybe a little too loose about it and maybe not into it enough, if I should
Mm.
say. Somewhere in between, but you should be part of the company. You should do your best to the team, to the product, to the customers and everything. But if you don't take care of yourself, you will end up hurting the team, hurting the product, and by this, hurting the customers and also the lifetime success of your product or your team. So
Right.
so so work-life balance is important.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that it's different from each of us. But if it's not okay, then the whole team will suffer.
Mm. Right. Right.
I think that's one of the learnings.
Mm-hmm.
And even if like our team is distributed, we have people in India, we have people in Sri Lanka, the UK, France, the US, and even if you sit here on a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting, you can feel if Christian is not 100% good today.
Mm.
And that might spread to the next meeting that some of the people from Sri Lanka do when they talk to the marketing team in the UK. That
Mm-hmm.
might spread a little,
Right. Right.
even
Very
if it's
rightly said.
virtual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Right. Right. So, and hence we do a lot of events. We try to motivate our team members in house. We try to take them for outing maybe once in a quarter, and then though we do a regular work from office, we do also we encourage them to maybe take work from home. If they are not willing to come to office someday, that's fine, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so in the European market, I'm sure with Denmark as well, there is this, GDPR and other laws, which can be a bottleneck for the Indian people or the people out there in the Middle East and the US reaching out to people in the European market. Do you think this is actually a good sign to have, or what's your take on this?
Um, GDPR is a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe implemented a little too hard in
Mm-hmm.
Europe. However, if you're creating a new software product today
Mm-hmm.
and you're not using the intentions and the values behind the GDPR laws and
Mm-hmm.
similar, then you will end up in problems simply
Right.
because privacy, even if you don't think it's important for your product, you need to have done a design by privacy. You
Mm-hmm.
need to make it possible to document that I'm only saving the data I need from you, Hemand, in
Mm-hmm.
order to get job done.
Right.
I shouldn't save your eye color because that's completely irrelevant. I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't make it easy to store your, I don't know, sexual preferences or your
Mm-hmm.
religion or your family relations or your health data, because when I'm selling you a video training platform, that's completely irrelevant. So
Right.
these are some of the things you should put into the design,
Mm-hmm.
because we see a shift also outside the European Union
Mm-hmm.
to do regulations on data privacy and accessibility and the ability to, I want to get lost. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
you must forget me. I don't want to hear from you evermore, and all the data you have should be deleted. We
Mm-hmm.
see that in California. We see that in other states in the US.
Right.
We see it partly in Canada. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
about India, but even in China, they start making regulation that is GDPR-like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
don't build that into your system from the start, or at least make sure that it's easy to split it up depending on jurisdiction, then you have done yourself a misfortune.
Got it. Got it. And now, AI around the corner, trending. Every second door you knock, you find a AI company there, right? So, do you think AI will reduce the job opportunities, or it will create more job opportunities for people out there in the market?
I think actually it will create
Mm-hmm.
more job opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the reason I do that is that we as people, we have like a tendency to say, hey, now we have these opportunities, and then we start using them. And suddenly we go from a situation where people are threatened by it to start using it.
Right.
So what you should be very careful about today is,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't take AI tools into your product or into your daily work for even writing emails or validating something and start using them, then you will left behind,
Mm-hmm.
because most jobs we do will not be completely replaced by an AI, but
Mm-hmm.
they will be replaced by a person who's using AI.
Right. Right.
And that means that you need to embrace it yourself. Even me,
Mm-hmm.
as a 50-plus-year-old person, I'm using AI
Mm-hmm.
every day in small things, in big
Mm-hmm.
things, etc. And so I would not be worried too much about my job,
Mm-hmm.
because if I do manual work, that
Mm-hmm.
still has to be done.
Right.
So if I'm, let's say, if I'm digging ditches or something like that, if I'm laying tele cable or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
somebody needs to, get their hands dirty into the
Right.
ground, put it out.
Right.
That is
Right.
still needed.
Right.
If I'm sitting in jobs like yours and mine,
Mm-hmm.
I would rather be worried that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not using AI
Mm-hmm.
by the end of this quarter or by the end of the next quarter. If I don't do that, then suddenly, because I did not follow, instead of
Mm-hmm.
being slowly moving up, the AI market might be here, but I'm slowly following. It might get a little faster than me, but I'm following. But if I stay down here and it moves from here to here, I can still catch up. But when the AI is up here, it's maybe too late for me to catch up. And then I'm the one who goes out.
Right. Right. So it's like, you upgrade your skills to stand out of the crowd, right?
Or at least make sure that you don't get into the people who do not have the skills that we see as part of being a good marketeer, a good software development, a good salesperson, a good supporter, things like that.
Right. So now, before we close this, Christian, I have a last question. Imagine, you being a 20 years old aspirant looking to start your own startup. What would be that one advice you will give to those founders who are willing to start any SaaS company or maybe any lead generation agency like us? They should follow to make it a success.
Um, that's a good question. And based on our experience and what I see work for other companies, find your first two, three, four, five customers, depending on the type of your product and the price range. Get to know them really well, understand what it is that you help doing for them, and then design the next version or the next iterations of your product according to that.
Hmm.
And now here comes the hard part. Then you will get in your second generation of customers, make them happy, understand their needs. And this is where it gets really hard. And then sort of ditch your first generation customers,
Mm,
because your first generation customers were the ones who got excited by your product, or get excited by you as a person, or got excited because you helped them solve one thing in five companies. But it might be that the real job to get done, or the real value that you are adding, is no longer in the first generation of customers, but in the second.
hmm.
That is, we've been there ourselves, that some
Hmm.
of the first customers, they suddenly got a higher say
Hmm.
than the next type of customers. And because the second generation, they expect a more finished product. So focusing a little on your, you can call it first and second generation customers, clearly an advice that I would share.
Hmm.
The second one is to be really strict is maybe not the right word, but be really clear about who it is that you hire into the company, especially in the beginning.
Right. Right.
Because you're a small team, you might be, let's say, 3, 5, 7 people,
Mm-hmm.
and the next person you hire in has to be a plus, has to be a bonus for the team. And this is where we have learned something the hard way, and I'd like to share that advice. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
You have gone through the process. You think you have found the right person.
Mm-hmm.
She's great. She seems to interact everything. But if she does not perform within the first 2 weeks, throw her out.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds a little hard, but
Mm-hmm.
all the people we have had performance issues with, or who have not understood the product, who did not get into the product fast enough, who did not get into the customers, anything, we can see this was clear from the first 2 weeks.
Mm. Right.
You're coming in like the new guy in a small team that are dedicated about the product, that knows the product, that knows the customers, that knows, I wouldn't say every word on the website, but more or
Mm-hmm.
less.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't pick up all the information. You don't contribute with ideas, or I need someone to review this one. They don't
Mm-hmm.
put up their hands and says, yeah, send it to me. I may not know anything, but at least I can make sure that it's readable. Fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if they don't show this interest in
Mm-hmm.
the first 2 weeks of their new job in your great company with your great product and your great customers, when will they ever do it? So that's a second piece of advice. Make sure that anyone you hire into the team must perform in the first 2 weeks. And no, it's okay to think you got the right person and then find out she does not fit in, he does not fit in, he does not contribute with something.
Right. Right.
Hasta la vista, baby. Get rid of them,
Mm-hmm.
because it will hurt you and you don't have time. I think we discussed that also when we talked about investment and bootstrapping, etc. The problem is your most precious resource as a founder or co-founder or early team member is
Mm-hmm.
not your,
Right.
it's your time.
Right. Right.
It's not how much money you make. It's not how many customers you, clearly, eventually that will be important, but it's more like, how do you use the time available for the best thing for the product or the customers or the marketing or the big event where you will show the next new feature or whatever. If that time suddenly goes away because you have to instruct a person more than average, or if you have a person that do not perform, and simply because now you hired the person full time, then the local regulation in Denmark says you need to have a process around it. And even if you fire them right away, you have to pay them 3 months of salary.
Wow.
So these are the rules. And that's fine. I think they're great rules. But it
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
means that if you get the wrong person in, that person will take away the most precious thing you have as a founder, and that's time.
Right. Very rightly said.
So be a little tough, and also say, I was wrong. The person looked fine. Everybody agreed she was the right person.
Mm-hmm.
But after having, sitting in an office with her or seeing how she interacts with the rest of the team and the product, I say, okay, so you've been here for a week and you haven't even opened our platform. You're the wrong person.
Right.
You've been here for a week. You haven't even gone into a CRM system and checked who do we have that matches someone else. Or you're hired to do TikTok-like videos, and you haven't even opened the video or asked for access to the TikTok account.
Right.
And for me as a developer, if the developer or the QA doesn't start being pissed after day 3, where I have not been able to give them full access to a Git repository, they're probably the wrong person. They're here to code, or they're here to test, or they're here to do design, or they're here to UX improvement.
Right.
But they're not frustrated that they cannot work out.
Right. Right.
I think that's it's a hard one very often, because it's not always that founders are as experienced as managers and leaders like I am, like my co-founder is, and that means that accepting the fact that you actually picked the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
That's that goes to your personal, you know, oh, I cannot, I must always pick the right one. When I picked her, she's the right one, right? But no,
Right.
you
And
must
this
accept
one,
I
right.
failed.
Right. And this one really hit hard to me because I can, relate this personally. I have been going through this a lot in the 6 years, and I can definitely say whatever you said is such good information to be shared to all the startup founders.
I can only say that uh, the persons we have had to part with, either in nice terms or not so nice terms, in all cases, it would have been. It was clear by the end of week 2 that no, this is not going to be a good one.
Right, right,
I'm
right.
I'm, I'm really sorry to say,
Mm,
and I've been a manager or a leader since I was around
mm,
28, so that gives me 25 plus years in different positions. And in all that time, there's only once
mm,
where I have seen that a person who didn't perform in 2 weeks was the right one. Once,
mm,
and that means that the track record for this very simple rule: if they don't perform within the first 2 weeks,
mm.
goodbye.
Right,
And it even also works on manager roles or
right.
expert roles, etc. We had, especially in the beginning, before social media marketing and before the branding and the inbound was very well known, and there were not many people who knew it. And that meant that we got some people in who knew about the process, who could be
Mm,
consultants about and present it, but they didn't know how to get their hands dirty in the CRM system, in Google Analytics, in Mouseflow, in Post Talk, in anything, and see this, how can you say, complete holistic view on your business, your product, your world.
mm,
They could do it from a PowerPoint perspective,
mm,
but to say, all right, Christian, it's a great process. Set it up and make sure that it's tracked correctly. And then we'll ask the product development team to make sure that they can give you some hooks. Did he open this to, did he click on help? Did he go to this part of the system? Oh, he did go to it. Fine, send him this automated email sequence. Yes, but you need to write the emails.
mm,
Or at least you need to know how to review them without asking someone to help you to find them in the Teams folders or in the HubSpot folders, whatever. No, you should be able
mm.
to do that yourself, not in 2 weeks' time, but now. And if
Right.
you don't know how to do it,
Mm,
you learn, and then you shout out in the room and say, I need someone to show me how to find the bloody email in Teams. Fine. Somebody will
right,
tell you. And
right.
then the next time, you will be the one who helps other people with the same.
Mm,
And if you ask the same question for the third time within the first 3 weeks, you have decided, I don't want to learn. And then you
mm,
don't fit into my organization.
right, right. I actually read it somewhere. Higher attitude because skills can be taught. You know.
That's another good rule.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
someone who either, it's like, okay, so you're trying to sell the
Mm-hmm,
world's best video platform
mm-hmm,
for SMEs at a reasonable cost. That's what we do.
mm-hmm,
We want to teach people, we want to make the world a better place by sharing knowledge, etc.
mm-hmm,
And you don't even want to take the product. You have been asked to do, and we have this onboard. We do our own system. We use it for our own onboarding, of course.
mm-hmm,
So you've been asked to do these 7 ISO courses, 5 GDPR courses, 3 about how we work,
mm-hmm,
and you haven't done them within the first week.
mm,
I had a new guy starting, or it's an old new guy. He came back to do some ad hoc work for us in the development department.
mm,
He sat down and he took all the courses in one day.
mm,
Okay, so why didn't you do that?
mm,
Did you do it because we were using you for a new marketing campaign, or you were testing a new platform, or you were spending a lot of time talking to a potential new customer where you had some special edge because you have a background or you knew the customer or something like that? No.
mm,
And you
mm,
didn't even finish the onboarding courses in the first 2 or 3 working days.
mm,
That's an attitude problem. That's not a
mm.
skills problem.
Right. Right.
So you're right. I think I'll take your higher attitude, and you can teach skills. I think
Mm,
I'll stick to that, and maybe
mm.
maybe turn it a little around instead of saying hire and fire within the first 2 weeks. But it's basically the same message.
Right,
People who can contribute and who do it by themselves.
right, right. So I'm so glad, Krishan, we were able to do this, and I really appreciate your time today. So before I let you go, if one message that you can give to all the young techie guys these days in India and Denmark as well, in one line.
Keep working at it.
Hmm.
You probably have a good idea or a good product.
Hmm.
The thing is, the guys out there, they don't know it yet.
Hmm.
It was a little more than one sentence, but
Right.
this is, I think the essence is, no matter how good your idea is,
Hmm.
if people don't know it exists and they don't know they can find it,
Hmm.
you're just like, I think there's a Chinese saying or something about, if a tree fell in a forest without anybody seeing it or hearing it, did it actually fall? I'll read up on what the correct saying is, but the idea is a little. So you have the best product for, put in what your product does for a customer in one sentence,
Hmm.
and the person who's looking for it cannot find it.
Hmm.
Why? Because you're not talking about it, because you're not there, you're not showing it on LinkedIn, you don't have a marketing team who invites people in to talk. And even if it's not relevant directly to your product, you're building
Hmm.
up this long-term credibility. And
Hmm.
suddenly, sometimes you get the ketchup effect. And when
Hmm.
you have the ketchup effect, if you're lucky, it'll turn into the hockey stick.
Hmm.
And then you might be where you are, or where you want to be. But you need to make sure that people know about the products, because if they don't know they have a need, and they don't know
Hmm.
that you have something that can fulfill that need,
Hmm.
they'll never find you and they'll never buy you. And eventually you will die the same death as, I think it's 40% or 50% of companies, they don't get older than 3 years in Denmark. And I think it's probably the same in India and the rest of the world.
Right. So well said, Krishan. So well said. And it
Thank you.
was so nice having this chat with you, Krishan. And I wish you luck for the rest of the year,
Thank you very
2026.
much.
Hope you get
Uh,
more and more business,
yeah, and the same to you, of course.
and we'll meet someday. If you plan to come to India or if you plan to come to Denmark.
There you should be most welcome to drop by the office.
Okay.
All
See
right.
ya
Thank you
then.
very much. It was a pleasure.
Adios.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Likewise. Bye bye. And to everyone listening, if this episode helped you think a little bigger and building globally, make sure you follow Startup with Soul. See you in the next time.